We initially started off in an avatar called onetakemedia.com.
Hmm.
And that's where we used to look at placing people within the film and television industry.
Hmm.
And I used to interview a lot of potential candidates for different jobs that they wanted in the industry. One common thing that I found across all resumes was, that all of them had made a short film
Hmm.
sometime, either as an
Hmm.
actor, as an editor, as a producer,
Hmm.
as a director, as cinematographer, whatever.
Hmm.
And that's when I was honestly not that exposed to short films, and I would always ask them, "What do you do with your short films?" Kuch
Hmm.
nahi. It's a show reel. We send
Hmm.
it someplace else, or some people said we send it to festivals.
Hmm.
So, and then that was the time when YouTube was just about entering India.
Hmm. Hmm.
So we thought, if there is so much content being created, I'm pretty sure there is an audience for it, and that's
Hmm.
how that was the germ
Hmm.
with which we just started and moved into that direction. And then now you have, as I say, the rest is history. But that was
Hmm.
great. So our aim was to kind of provide a platform and an opportunity to this talent who was
Hmm.
creating something, expressing their vision, and
Hmm.
nobody was seeing it.
Hmm.
And there was a
Hmm.
clear
Hmm.
gap, and that is what we wanted to address.
Hmm.
It has evolved substantially over these 10 years. I mean, initially, and whenever we received a short film and we would talk to any platform about short film, we would always say, the whole intent and purpose of that short film is to see the talent behind it and their talent's ability to just be able to express themselves, visually. And please don't go looking into the specificity or the quality of the lighting and the sound and everything. Just look at the craft. Was now in hindsight, I can say was more like trying to make an excuse for the lack of all of those things in short films.
Hmm.
Now, if you see any short film, I think there is no excuse. You got to you got to be perfect in your production. It has to look good. It has to be done well. Proper lighting, proper action, proper camera, DI, everything has to be proper. Of course, there are a couple of primary reasons because I think early on when we started around those times, 2009, 10, 11, the cost of production was higher. The
Hmm.
technology had not advanced, the cameras were not there, which could help somebody make a low budget film. But I think we've seen that with the coming of digital cameras and all of that, I think the whole shooting process and the cost in particular uh,
Hmm.
went uh, went down substantially. So no filmmaker can say, "Yeah, I didn't have enough budget, so that is why I've compromised on the production quality of the film." That is not acceptable any longer, and particularly also from a consumption point of view. So if you look at consumers of content, they are exposed to a ton of digital content online, and the most precious commodity per se is the audience's time. From the creative side also, the ability to create better content has increased substantially. The way that the filmmakers are now sharing and telling stories, that has changed substantially. And also the way the viewers are consuming the content and expecting stuff from the content, that too has changed. So I would say that short films have evolved substantially. But that said, I still believe that it is still, the tip of the iceberg. The primary objective, like, there have been filmmakers who asked me, "Sir, मैं क्या बनाऊं?" I think you
Hmm.
need to make the story that you want to say.
Hmm.
That I think is the absolute essence of it. Now, a short film, how and why will a person want to watch a short film? Typically, a short film does not have the star actors and so on and so forth to attract them. Typically. So it is just the uniqueness of storytelling and the uniqueness of the story itself,
Hmm.
which is what attracts consumers or viewers to come and watch that short film. And that is why, it is the payoff at the end of the day when I'm consuming any piece of content. As a consumer, I want a certain payoff. The, the initially short films with a twist or, an ending which will completely surprise you was what defined a short film. And while I agree that that is true, but at the same time, I think it should hold true. So don't give a twist or a payoff only because you think it is something that one must give, but give a payoff because that is something that the whole story is all about. The monetization, see, in a journey of any particular format and industry, it generally takes time. Until now, what is happening is that in India particularly, the discovery and the enjoyment of short films as a format is just beginning. The moment we start having a certain traction and following, and you see now, I mean, you've been a part of the industry, people are talking about short films now much more than what they were doing, say, a few years ago. So that is, first of all, viewers have to follow, viewers have to come in, and revenue will follow. That said, yes, I mean, we've always been looking at Pocket as a company. Pocket Films has been looking at primarily also mainly the monetization and the commercial aspect of short films. That has always been one of the driving forces behind us as well, is that we want to monetize that content for the short filmmaker. So yes, opportunities are increasing. With every passing year, we can say for sure that more and more filmmakers are recovering more and more money of their short films. So ideally, a film should be at least around 3 minutes now to really monetize. Again, there is no, otherwise from a duration perspective, there is no finite standard, like, no golden rule that this is exactly what works. But the golden rule there is how long can you really engage your viewer. So if you're making a 30-minute film, be pretty sure that you are not even giving the viewer a 15-second window in which he wants to consider, look at ye kya chal raha hai types. The very clear filters that we have are no copyrights, no kind of any potential copyright infringement. So whether it is audio, whether it is video, and I want to use this forum to also communicate one thing, that even 1 second of any content for which you don't have the rights is a violation. The second part, of course, is documentation, whether you are the rightful owner of the content and so on. So these are something which is just more of paperwork and very evidentiary in that sense. Once that is clear, then we have, of course, we have a certain criteria in terms of the content, the production quality. What is the story that the creator is trying to communicate through? How well are they able to convey their story? It may be a story to which I personally, or as in when I say I, my team, personally may or may not agree with the outcome or the way the story is being said. But what is more relevant and important to us is that it was a point of view which was communicated well, a story which was communicated well. Of course, there is certain hygiene also which we expect most creators to maintain, particularly when they are aware that they are giving this film for a digital platform, for an online consumer. So see, typically our reasoning behind having these festivals, and as I said, most of our contests that Pocket Films runs are associated with international film festivals. So, what we feel is that there are two things here. We want to give our creators and their content some kind of an international exposure. And at the same time, we also want to expose our creators to a kind of content of short films that are being made globally. So, it's like not wanting to, it's just kind of increasing their entire periphery of the world that we are in. So overall, on all platforms, consumption has increased in tune with all other OTT platforms and all other types of content. At the same time, as far as receiving content is concerned, yes, we have received tons of films even during lockdown.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this video, and if you like what we do, follow us on our socials and check out our other uploads.